What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Emanuel-C channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Last Week in Tech, the show giving you weekly tech updates. Today, I'll be talking about the Pixel A series saying goodbye to the headphone jack, the next generation in Snapdragon chips, and the next real estate boom that's already happening online. If you enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like button. It helps out a ton. And if you're new to the Emanuel-C channel, hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell so you can keep up with all the uploads coming here to the channel. We're going to start today off with the Pixel 6a render leaks. Renders of the Pixel 6a have already begun to leak thanks to OnLeaks and 9one Mobile. It looks pretty identical to the Pixel 6, with a camera bar on the back housing two cameras and a flash, as well as a flat screen on the front with a hole punch selfie camera. The 6a does seem to have smaller dimensions with a more compact 6.2-inch screen compared to the Pixel 6's 6.4-inch. It's shown in two colors, a black and a white version, and from the leaks, the back seems to be glossy. The more recent A-series phones have all had polycarbonate backends to them. There doesn't appear to be a fingerprint sensor on the back, which means it could be using an underscreen sensor like the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. Also from the renders, it doesn't look like it has a headphone jack on it. This could be the first Pixel A-series phones that lacks this feature, which is typically a staple feature in mid-range phones. As always, leaks and renders aren't official, and by the time the 6a actually comes out, there could be a headphone jack added to it. There's also no news yet as to what kind of chip will be inside. The Pixel A-series phones typically have a chip that's a step down from whatever's in the flagship. Since Google is now making the chips for the Pixel series, they could choose to include the Tensor chip, or they could have a scaled down version of it. Next up on the episode, we'll talk about the new Snapdragon chip, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 mobile platform. Qualcomm just finished their annual Snapdragon Tech Summit in Hawaii. I think my invite could have gotten lost in the mail, so don't worry about it. You can make it up to me next year, Qualcomm. This is where they announced the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip, the chipset that will power almost every high-end Android phone in 2022. This is the first chipset to bear Qualcomm's new naming scheme, ditching the triple-digit system that Qualcomm previously used. The new chipset promises major improvements in performance, camera technology, AI capabilities, security, and 5G connectivity. The CPU has 20% better performance. The GPU has 30% better performance and power efficiency, and is the first Snapdragon platform to showcase Unreal Engine 5. The AI engine operates up to 4 times faster than its predecessor and allows upscaling of 1080p content to 4K. When it comes to connectivity, the Snapdragon 888 allowed download speeds of up to 7.5 gigabytes per second. This new chip allows download speeds of up to 10 gigabytes per second, assuming you can get a steady connection to 5G, that is. They also have a feature called AI antenna tuning, which will figure out which grip you're holding your phone with, figure out which antennas you're blocking, and redirect signal to the ones that you aren't. The new image signal processing unit can crunch through 4,000 times more data than current phones, which is kind of a ludicrous number to throw out there. This will enable phones to shoot cinematic video in 4K. In comparison, Apple caps their cinematic footage at 1080p, but we'll have to see how individual phone manufacturers use this extra processing power in their phones. What could be the most important upgrade is power efficiency. Current chips are built on a 5nm architecture. This new Snapdragon chip will be the first one built on a 4nm processing architecture. And finally, we're going to talk about digital real estate and NFTs. Back on a previous video of our podcast episode 27, which came out February 16th, you can check that out here, we talked about digital land sales in the game Axie Infinity. Someone by the name of Flying Falcon bought 9 plots of Genesis Estate for 888.25 ETH. At the time, this was valued at 1.5 million USD and was the biggest sale of NFTs at that time. The game had 18,000 users, and we joked that in a year's time it could have 40,000. Well, they hit 40,000 5 months after that episode. They hit 200,000 8 months after that episode. And in the last 30 days, they've reported 2,501,143 average monthly users. Axie Infinity is built on Ethereum, which at the time of that episode was 1,781 USD. At the time of this recording, it's 4,051, which is about 227% growth. Now, more recently, on November 23rd, a virtual real estate plot sold for $2.4 million worth of cryptocurrency in the game Decentraland. The land was bought by a subsidiary of tokens.com called the Metaverse Group. In the game Decentraland, people buy land, visit buildings, and meet people as avatars. It's a specific metaverse built on blockchain where people buy items as NFTs. People buy land using Decentraland's cryptocurrency Mana. The purchased plot of land is in the Fashion Street area of Decentraland, which will host digital fashion shows and will be somewhere where people can buy and sell products. This surge in interest for digital environments has all been sparked by Meta's rebranding. Numerous companies and brands have started doing collaborations with games. Brands like Nike, Adidas, Jordan, Montclair. Pop culture entities like Ghostbusters, Naruto, Marvel, J Balvin, LeBron James have all started to build up and sell their digital presence. As I mentioned before, the previous record for an NFT sale was 1.5 million. Currently, the official record is held by Beeple, who sold his piece every day, the first 5,000 days, for 69 million. Let's go back to Axie Infinity. On November 24th, one Genesis estate sold for 550 ETH, valued at 2.340 million at the time of purchase. Let's say our old friend Flying Falcon still had all 9 plots of their Genesis estate and sold them for 500 ETH. Let's call it a bargain deal for buying all of their property. At today's current value, they would make $18,229,500. Seems like Flying Falcon is a visionary. And that's it for today's episode. If you're interested in a more in-depth conversation, click the link below to check out my podcast with a friend covering this episode's topics. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. It helps out a ton. And leave a comment for any of the stories you were interested in. What do you think of the missing headphone jack on the 6A? Is it a deal breaker for a mid-range phone not to have one? And do you think Google will use the same tensor chip that's in the 6 and 6 Pro? Are you impressed with the new specs and features from the next Snapdragon chip? Do you think it will be better for companies to use Snapdragons or design their own chips like Google and Apple do? What do you think of these digital land sales and NFTs? Have you begun investing in NFTs in the metaverse yet? Do you think we've reached the ceiling of digital real estate, or are we just at the beginning? As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Emanuel-C, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until next time, take it easy. Peace.